right, let's get started. Whoop. Oh yeah, I got the right screen. I thought I clicked on the wrong one. Welcome everyone. I hope everyone's going well this evening. I was meant to do a release yesterday, but I just had no energy to do it. So I am going to do that very quickly right now, so we've at least got a release out. Alright, let's go over here. Let's CD straight into the folder. Let's make sure we pull the latest results. We're going to make sure we're on the dev branch also. There we go. I can type. The other thing we want to do, npm run prod. We're just going to get the prod build of the JSON files all done. That takes about 40 seconds. Whilst that's actually happening, I'm going to run up the server. I'm also going to go onto CircleCI to see how our builds were the other day. They should be fine. I don't think I got an email. Hopefully not. Oh, success. All right, cool. And that was the other day. All right, so we've built everything. Now I want to do npm run e2e. So that's our end-to-end test. So that's just to test everything is going to load up perfectly fine with no errors. Oh, hold on. We do have this issue with mobile Chrome quite a lot where it just doesn't log in. One day I'll try and figure out what's causing that. So yeah, we've got most tests passed. So if I just look at the failed, all right, tell you what, we're going to rerun this because every now and then rerunning it works perfectly fine. So we're just going to do this, and as I say that, it doesn't work perfectly fine. All right. I am running it. Let's jump in. I'm going to log in as dark user, or dark admin, I should say. All right, it's not working because I've got two-factor on. So what I want to do, I want to remove the database. I want to go, we need our to be in our virtual environment. So I'm going to source VM pin activate like that. I'm going to go Python 3 manage migrate. So that will recreate the database, our local database. Easy done. This is all the migrations that are in it so far. There's quite a number. We are then going to go Python 3 manage load data. And we want to load data from the fixtures. And we're just doing the basic setup. Easy done. That's done. What I'm going to do, I'm going to reset the running server at the moment because I don't know if it notices that the database has been dropped and recreated. I don't know if it cares, but I just do it anyway. Give it a second or two. And RW Grim, how's your stream? Welcome. I thought you said you weren't gonna go 2 hours, but I guess you did. Anyway, welcome everyone. I am Robotic Head. I am currently working on a open source project management system called NearBeach. Let me log in. I've just destroyed, and I might log in as dark admin. There we go. Ivanhoe, how are you going? So yes, let me bump that off to the right. Let me make some more space. There we go. Good. I didn't realize you don't normally start until 3:30 at my time, but ouch. I do know it's not this weekend, but next weekend I moved my, so everyone, exclamation point drop, you've got to beat, and ooh, 86.71, nice. We are all trying to beat Nightbot because Nightbot cheats at this game. Considering it constantly drops at the perfect moment, it cheats. I am going to do Judgmental Lily because we're judging Nightbot, so yeah. Anyway, welcome everyone. Tonight we're quickly going to do a release. I was meant to do it yesterday, but I was just too exhausted after work. I was like, I won't be able to do that properly. Ooh, I'm getting an issue on YouTube. How's my bitrate? No, my bitrate's good. I think I just had a little hiccup then. Okay, no problem. I think, right, you need to crash. Yeah, it's 3:30 a.m. I fully understand. So yeah, anyway, thank you very much for the raid, and yeah, I'm hoping to see you again next week. So yeah, now that work has eased up a little bit. All right. So yeah, we're doing a release tonight. I've just got to cross my T's, dot the I's. Yeah, so we're running a end-to-end test. So npm run end-to-end. There we go. I had to drop my database and rebuild it because when doing this end-to-end test, I had the wrong database on, and I also had two-factor on, so one of the users couldn't log in. So yeah, this shouldn't take too long. Mobile Chrome constantly fails, but we will rerun it, and it should just work. Famous last words. I mean, I said that last time, and then we found out that no, I need to drop the database and recreate it. So yeah. For those wanting to know, we're wrapping up the 0.31 branch. So I'm sprinting at the moment to get everything that I want done with it. That includes documentation, unit tests for code coverage, and sort of massive amounts of shakeout testing, which will include all the databases that Django supports. So SQLite we're already do on a day-to-day basis. I'm talking MySQL, MariaDB, Postgres, and Oracle. So, you know, hopefully, I think on the weekend I might install the Docker containers for all of those and put the config in to get it all ready. Because I think next week I'm ready to sort of test that. Now, this has only failed on mobile Chrome. It fails because it can't log in. Now that is something we might actually have a look at. In the sense that what I could do is I can look at a bunch. We use BrowserStack for our testing, so I might jump onto BrowserStack and test it out on multiple different Android and iOS Chromium browsers. So yeah, it just seems to fail that login, and I don't know why. As you see, it's passed now. All right. There you go. Passes everything. So I'm actually happy. We now got to look at the screenshots though. So I'm going to go sites NearBeach, wherever it is. We've got, not coverage, that's the JavaScript one. I think it's the test results. Shakeout, admin. And I'm just going through these to make sure nothing is sort of broken. No, that's fine. All right, cool. And another thing I'll probably end up doing in a couple of weeks and stuff like that is with the end-to-end stuff, I do want to sort of elaborate more on it. So, for example, I have been doing a little bit of research, and I actually did this for work recently. And I've been using Playwright to go to a web page, take a screenshot, and then go to the dev equivalent, take and do a screenshot, but then can do a comparison between the two. And I'm like, I should be implementing that for NearBeach also. That way people can be like, all right, cool, I've made this change. It's made this change on the thing. All right, cool. Which I think will definitely help. All right. And we've got a team leader, so a less privileged user. All right. So I'm happy. Let's do a git status. We've only got a couple of static files that have changed. That's perfectly fine. Git add all of those, and then git commit, and then it is release. And this is where I have to always look up the release number because I always second guess myself because I always, sometimes I muck it up or I just get confused. So yeah, let's have a look at what we've done. 96, so this will be 97. So 0.31.97, nearly at 100. So we're going to do a git push. Yep, cool. Alright, we're going to go to NearBeach. I'm going to close this. We know those particular tests will run perfectly fine because we've only compiled the JavaScript. Those backend stuff don't change. The backend and, sorry, the VueJS unit tests, they don't change. Alright, so we're in NearBeach. Compare and pull. It's weird doing this at the start of the stream. So yeah, usually I would do this at the end of the stream. But we are going to do some documentation, probably more unit tests. Yeah, I'm probably going to do the shakeout test next week. If I get the documentation crossed off, that would be pretty awesome. I think I've got one major sort of bug to fix. And then yeah, it's mostly unit tests and documentation. All right, so I'm gonna grab these. Just gonna grab those links. There's a little button I'm clicking on that you guys can't see. Don't worry too much about that. So we've done bug fixes. Oh, new feature, GDPR wizard. And you know what I forgot to do? I forgot to put it in the menu. All right, so I'm going to cancel that very, very quickly. What we're going to do is we are going to close all tabs. We're going to minimize this. We are going to put it in the menu very, very quickly. It's just part of a template change. So that will belong under templates. If we go to localhost, we're logged in, it'll be under administrator. There'll be a little wizard down here saying GDPR wizard. Oh, nope, this is part of the templates. So this will be part of the partials because it's part of the header. And then this will be part of the administration. So administration of object status. Oh yeah, all right, cool. I'm just wondering, I'm gonna put it above that. I should also do that too. And then what we want to have here is GDPR wizard. And then I think it's just GDPR wizard. Oh, so you decided to join us. Come on. Yes, I know. Say hi to everyone. Be like, hi. Do you want treats? You gotta pay for them. Yeah. Just before stream, she decided to run up and go on the roof. And then I was like, no, I'm not getting you down. Alright, so yeah, it is GDPR wizard. So I was just referencing getting the URL, the proper one. So we've got all that. I think that should be fine. If we hit refresh, yeah, there we go, GDPR wizard. Might. Yeah, I know, Socks. I don't like that either. So we've got search notifications, search notification. There's the user sort of stuff. This is more MISCI sort of things. So I tell you what, I'm actually going to get rid of those dividers. And there we go. I think that looks a little bit better. We tend to use the dividers to sort of separate things and group things up in the menu. All right, so what we need to do is git status. We've only made that one change, git add, and I'm going to put in git commit. Added GDPR wizard to menu. Functionality released. So yeah, the GDPR wizard is, so NearBeach does soft deletes. So if you delete an organization, it soft deletes it. With the idea that a follow through delete, soft deletes will actually happen. Now we've got cascade delete in NearBeach. So if you do actually delete that, it will cause it cascade problems and all that kind of fun stuff. Sometimes you don't want to do that. So hence the soft delete. However, with GDPR, the idea being is if someone's requested their data to be deleted, you sort of have to do a deletion status. And this just goes through the process of being like, all right, cool. If it's a user, you don't want to delete something the user's sort of created, like a project or a task. You want to reference to it and so forth like that. And then when you delete the user, you're not deleting Kanban boards and so forth like that. Am I having internet problems? No, I've got the good stream. It's just YouTube having problems. Sorry, it looks like warning streams is lower than the bit rate. Yeah, but I should be having a good... I've got 50 up. Oh, which reminds me, I've got to change all of these settings now to actually accommodate the fact that I finally got a little bit more bandwidth. So yeah. It's 500 down, 50 up, but you know, that's Australian 500 down, so it's not exact. It's a bit off. Sometimes you get a little bit more, a lot of times you get a little bit less. So yeah. Alright, so I've done that, I've just pushed that, so we'll go over here. I'm just going to refresh this. Alright, we're going to do a compare and pull. So we've got the bug fixes, and we're going to put in new feature. Oops, sorry, I was meant to press that one. GDPR. I just keep forgetting all the acronyms and stuff. Everyone knows this. I'm terrible at acronyms. Okay, I can close that. These are getting released, so I'm just going to flag them as fixed for the moment. We'll get all that sorted in a second. So general data protection. All right, cool. Implementation of the has been completed. So I do want to kind of write something on it. I should also do a little blog post on it, and we also need to actually write documentation around it, mainly because it's a system administration sort of task. You've got to be a super user for this particular task, because you will be deleting data from the system. All right, implementation of the general data protection regulation has been completed in NearBeach. This process will reassign. This process will delete actual data from the database instead of the soft delete process. Okay. System administrators should be the only users that have access to this functionality. No, I can't spell. Functionality. All right, cool. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to make that a hyperlink. I'm going to preview that. All right, cool. Yeah, awesome. Now, I should double check this because this has happened before. I should always double check that the unit tests are running. It's still running. All right. Yeah, it would have failed out by now. All right, I'm going to create it. All right, so this is done. We'll just let those finish for a little while. Actually, we can actually do that on our local. So if we go Python 3 manage test, we can actually test that locally a lot faster. If we open up a new tab and we go npm run unit tests, it'll also run those. Those warnings, I've got to take care of them. I should create a ticket for that. However, it's something I'm not going to sort of tackle until 0.32. All right, so going in here, just create a quick ticket for that. Just going to paste that in unit tests show warnings. Okay, easy done. This is pagination. Okay, cool. We should consider handling these these warnings so they don't show. And it might be one of those sort of things that I look into it and they'll probably be like, all right, cool. Instead of using a fixture, you actually want to mock this data. And I'll be like, all right, cool. Or you do some other method. I'm not sure yet. I don't know. So we'll find out. Priority is going to be normal. This is a bug. It'll be assigned to me. It'll be part of the unit testing. This is definitely for the next version, the 0.32 RC1. Easy done. I'm just going to close that. We've also got another issue. We should see up here unordered object runtime datetime field editor. So we're going to copy that. Going to add in our little code block. Easy done. And what we want to do is unit testing warnings. And this will be part of the datetime stuff. And yeah, we just need to, we should handle these warnings so they don't. Oh, thanks, socks. Cool. Sorry, Socks decided to step on the mouse. As she does. I don't know how to. Tell you what, I'm just leaving it like that. That's fine. I'm not going to spend 5 minutes trying to figure out how to get that where I want it to. Unit testing. Cool. Let's just create that. Easy done. So these bugs have now fixed. We've got this. I'm not too fussed about the deep source stuff failing at the moment. What I'll do is I will be jumping back into the deep source and having a look at where I can improve stuff. Yeah, there's not too much with the deep source. It's just a lot of pattern sort of stuff. I might find a code linter and start applying it to NearBeach. But yeah, everything else passed. I'm just bypassing the rules and I'm just going to confirm. I will need to actually edit that. Anyway, I'm just going to edit this very, very quickly. I'm just going to copy. I am going to jump into NearBeach. We are going to create a new release, and I'm the Dev Alex. Welcome, welcome. How are you going? Hopefully you're going well on this Friday night, assuming it is Friday for you. 0.31.97. Jesus. All right. Oh, and we need to tag 0.31.97. And we want to generate those notes. We pre-release, create discussion. All right, cool. So in about half an hour, this will be fully released. Yes, Friday for you, 4 a.m. Wow. Now, is this a 4 a.m.? I watched it. I stayed up all the way up to this, or is the 4 a.m. I just woke up? And Scotty B, how are you going? I was supposed to come over with a raid with RW Grim, but my browser or Twitch was being weird. Fair enough. All good. All good. How are you going? Also, this is Speedy. Okay. Welcome back, Speedy. So, yeah. We've just done a release. I was meant to do this yesterday, but I was exhausted after work. Let's just say that. I knew I would screw up somewhere, and I was like, I'm not risking it. I'd rather do it first thing in the stream. So, yeah. Just got to do a bit of administration stuff very, very quickly. What we're doing, because I am focusing quite a bit on bugs and stuff like that, because we're pretty much wrapped up all the features that we want for 0.31. Yeah, it's mostly now documentation, shakeout, and unit testing. So yeah, LightNat went longer than wanted, been up a few hours, off work today. Fair enough. Fair enough. All right, show release, show archived. I want to untick that. We have just released 97. I want to archive that. Sweet. We want to go back to issues. I want to edit this. Actually, no, it's yeah, I have to do it differently now. Edit, save, search. Yeah. So now we want to do 99, and then we do 99. And then we want to apply changes. And there we go. So anything we don't do in 98 will be moved to 99, or just in case I do a release for 98, which can happen. Yeah, it's there, and then, yeah, we don't lose track of anything. So, just wait, Love Mojo, even though it's not finished, what it does have is very nice and speedy. Ooh, nice. That's the superset on top of Python. I know you've come in here before, and I did have a look at it. Oh wow. Oh wow, Wiki's taking forever. And Python, familiar with the kind of, it's available both via Jupyter Notebooks and locally on Linux and Macs. With performance of system programming. Ooh, all right. As of the Mojang compiler is closed source with open source. Yeah. Nice. Yeah, I should give it a shot. I really should see what I can do in it. It'd be pretty cool. Okay, so I'm going to close that. This one, yeah, we knew that was going to run. That's perfectly fine. That is done. We've got 5 issues now. But we've also got, let's go to prod, let's go to Kanban board information 2. So we've got the API unit tests that we need to do. We've got create fixtures. This one we can move over. The metadata, I've got to have a talk with Nocturnal about that one. This is changing from NAS to Docker. So I did actually try it out with my NAS and all that kind of stuff. It just added on an extra layer of complexity trying to get to the database. And I was like, this is for testing. I don't need to do that. I mean, I've got other things on my NAS for testing purposes. So for example, I have my Docker build sort of step. So if we change something with our Docker build, I've got a VM where I open it up, I pull down the latest code from staff, and then I can build locally and test locally and so forth like that. And everything's sort of set up there that it's just a couple of commands to get things running. Sorry, bit of fluff then. However, I was playing around with setting up databases on and so forth like that, and I was like, all right, cool, I got to do all of this. I was like, I should just do Docker on my local, and that's just going to be 10 times easier. So yeah, I'll hopefully set that up this weekend if I've got time. I'm just having, I probably have time on Sunday to do it. So yeah. So I'm just going to change that one. I'm just going to save and close. That one's fine. Indexing. So this is a bit of research that we want to do. I should zoom in so you guys can actually see this. So I want to see if I can start doing improvements for NearBeach. Now, talking about the VMs on the NAS, I've got a VM where I've decided to create a lot of data on it. I should revisit that VM and sort of do as much as possible. Now that we've fleshed out the whole entire process around that, because we did it to fill up the GDPR stuff. So I might continue with that, but to the extreme. We're talking lots and lots of data. And then I want to sort of read up on how I can sort of improve NearBeach's processes. So yeah. All right. Sorry, I'm just gonna. She stopped. Another thing I want to actually do is. I'm taking a photo of socks. She's being very inappropriate at the moment. For those that want to know. All right. Oh, we're not on ad time. No. We will be in a second, but can you tell? You can't really tell. She's looking herself inappropriately on the desk. So, yeah. I'll put that on Discord later. All right, back to the workstation. I'm just keeping an eye on the ads. There we go. We've just hit ad time. All right, I'm actually going to turn on my NAS. I want to see, I did want to update that VM. So I'll be right back. Okay, so. Oh, you okay? The socks stepping on the mouse. It's fine, it's just me socks. Alright, come here. Come here. There we go. Alright, she's like, yay, pats. How's everyone going, by the way? Hopefully you're going well. I'm glad it's the weekend. I think next weekend's a long weekend too. I've got to double check that, which will be awesome. I might do a long stream. I don't know yet. So hopefully we get to the state where I can go, all right, cool, we're going to do 6, 7, 8 hours of testing, which would be kind of awesome to do. I'm hoping that there's no critical bugs. But yeah, we want to get NearBeach to the state where it's stable. All right, welcome back everyone before we start the 032, which will break everything. So yeah, anyway, Socks wants to be on camera. Just gotta move this forward. There we go, Socks. You're on camera now. All right, getting back into this. We just did a push. I am just double checking on my YouTube. I do apologize on YouTube if you're having issues. Yeah, it keeps saying that I'm having issues, but I don't know. Twitch looks like it's going fine. All right, let's see if that's registered yet. So, I know, yeah, we want to also do fuzzy testing. So I've got to have a look at that. We're more researching that at the moment. So the idea being is if we can implement it very, very quickly, we will. But moving forward, we'll probably be sort of implementing it to attack the API and any endpoints like that. So yeah. There's a bunch of other stuff in here that we whoa, Socks, careful, you nearly fell off the desk. So I don't know if that was caught. Oh, might have been caught. All right. So yeah, Socks. She's clumsy. All right, getting back to fuzzy testing. Yeah, we want to do that. We also kind of want to. We're probably putting off a lot of this to 0.32 branch. Yeah, just we're drawing a line in the sand for features. Because we're kind of like, listen, there's a bunch of database improvements we need to do. We need to do all of this. And I think actually sitting down and planning all that with these in mind would be a lot better. Documentation. All right, this is all we're definitely starting this tonight. Sucks. Implement all libraries into one. All right, cool. Yeah, we'll have a look at this for 0.32. I'm going to add a tag for that. Easy done. Elastic searches. Oh, that's been in there for ages. I have to sit down and do that one. And I think it'll be good to keep that in mind with database change, so forth like that. Yeah, we've got to have a look at some things like this. So that will happen next week. YouTube, will you error not receiving enough? No, piss YouTube. Sorry. I keep getting warnings. I open up the widget. It's like error, and then it disappears straight away. And I'm like, but I should be. I'll have to actually see what the video is afterwards. For those on Twitch, are you having any issues with the video feed? Hopefully not. So yeah, we've just got to fix those particular things up. So part of the Kanban board, and this is the last one. So that's just research. It's just a couple of quick implementation things. Nothing too hard to actually do. Famous last words, of course. But yeah, that's where we are. So I don't think we can do all of this within 2 weeks. But I'm hoping if I get a good run, we can get this sort of done mid-October. So yeah, assuming we don't have massive critical bugs and stuff like that. All right, now let's have a look at the sadly poor state of our documentation, which I really do need to fix up. So we're just going to go over here. We're going to minimize that. We are going to close all tabs. We're going to have a look at the latest documentation. I should jump onto the develop branch. Oh, documentation branch. No. Yep, there we go. All right. Now what I've also got to do is git pull. I should also git checkout main, git pull, git checkout the documentation, git merge main. And the reason why I'm doing that is so everything just lines up perfectly fine. So, yeah. All right. You know, if we go into the Kanban board itself, we have a bunch of things which we could probably do straight away. So we've got to remove the old installation process. I'm thinking, no, moving forward, the initial thought was it'll be useful for those who want to actually run NearBeach as close as the middle as possible. However, moving forward, I've decided no for that because there's a lot of config and changes and stuff like that between when I first decided that and now. And that's a lot of documentation I've got to write in and so forth like that, considering we'll probably, moving forward, we'll probably only support the Docker and Podman builds, as well as hopefully Nomad in the next couple of months. So I'm like, we'll probably be like, this needs to be in a container. So going in here, what we want to do is, that will be under, so we've got the quick install with Docker, we've got the quick install with Podman, we've got the different databases and what to do, we've got the different blob storages and what to do. We could probably extend that one page a little bit better. We're also not going to support installing against existing projects, I think. So we're removing that. Remove old installation process from documentation. Remove old in... Yeah. Sorry, that was meant to be this one. So the idea here is you can install NearBeach next to an existing project and stuff like that. However, that being said, if you have custom user tables, that's going to cause problems because we tend to use certain fields to validate the user and so forth like that. For example, email is shown and all that kind of stuff, and it's just going to have follow-through problems. So we are going to remove that. I've decided, yeah, it's a little too much for me to sort of take on, being able to make everything work in case there's not an email and stuff like that. So, yeah. So yeah, sorry. Going back into this, add use ads. Yeah. The reason being why we're doing this also is because once again there's a lot of config and so forth like that, and I'm kind of like it'll just get too hard to convey that. All right, going into the documentation. This will be under installation. So 001 installation. This will be install against existing pro. So it'll be this one. So we're just going to delete. And old installation process, we're also going to delete. So we'll have the other stuff, that'll be perfectly fine. But yeah, this one was huge. As you see, we haven't updated this documentation in a while, and I'm like, yeah, no, this needs to be removed now. All right, I'm just gonna go up here. We've got the local development environment down here. Now, I noticed that it's cutting off that. I'm gonna change that. Just because it's annoying me right now. So I'm gonna open up this, I'm gonna open up the index. We've got local development environment. Yeah, that's perfectly fine. Local development environment setup. I'm just wondering. Surface inline. Alright. Local development environment. It's part of the top one. Alright, so under index, we're going to scroll all the way down to where it says install against existing project. All right, we need to get rid of that. Old installation we'll get rid of. And then local development environment setup. So what we'll need to do is I'm going to put for developers. The idea being is, let's say you're on this sort of page, you'll see for developers and then local development environment down here. I'm going to say set up local dev environment, like that. We are limited with how much space we've actually got here. And then when someone clicks on that, you got the little things and you got the prerequisites and stuff like that. I like how that flows down like that. That's fine by me. We'll get rid of those, yes. And then, yeah, different databases. Yeah, that one's fine. And then administration tasks. I'm going to change that to administrator. For administrators. So first time setup. I'm going to split these up. And the reason being is technically that's we do need first time setup. However, managing users, managing groups, managing permission sets, and system variables should be actually higher than this. So what I want to do is, so that's the first time setup. That goes into the 03 index. I'm going to close that one. That one's fine. So 03 index. And I'm going to remove these from here. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4. And then I'm just going to paste them. That should be fine like that. So first time setup. And then 03 index. And then Yeah, I don't want that. All right, cool, not a problem. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to delete that one. I'm going to go in here. I'm just going to delete that one. I'm going to delete that line, and I'm going to delete the index from here. All right, so the idea being is first time setup will be like that, and then the person will be like, all right, cool, for the first time login, complete your profile, the code does not generate. All right, cool. So it's basic information for a super user for the first time. Sorry, the administrator. Yeah, so, and then we've got the system variables. We need to flesh this one out because there's a lot more system variables now. So we've got max file, upside load, so the max file, all right, cool. Cookie session, we've got the save, that one, all right, cool. Session save every request, a Django setting attribute, I will need to, because 4.2 is still supported, but I'd rather send this to, I don't have a latest one. All right, cool. I'd rather send this to the dev URL. The main reason being is we don't want users to go to 4.2 because I think 4.2 4.2 is supported till next year. All right, cool. April next year. And then, 6.0 comes out in December. All right, cool. I'm gonna have to do a massive test for that. All right, not a problem. Because we can always keep 0.31 on the LTS version. All right, cool. All right. So yeah, I'd rather that. Going back into the documentation also, I'm just gonna find out with the markdown how to make the links. Syncs markdown. Let's just do, all right. Attributes target equals blank. All right, cool. All right, I'll figure it out. So we also need to get more system variables because those three are not enough for it. So we've got the max file size upload, we've got the session cookie. If I go into, give me a couple of seconds. No, that's one I've created. All right. I also want to have a look at this. Because, yeah, we've got a bunch of settings and stuff like that. Oh, I just realized that I've not there. All right, cool. A bunch of settings that will need to actually be keyed into the system. So if someone was to read this documentation, they could have a look here and be like, oh, okay, this is the Azure setting, this is this, and so forth like that. And I'll need to put them in a smart way. So, Alright. I'm just going to review the other pages first. So first time user setup. For first time log into NearBeach normally not through the admin portal, which, yep. The reason being is when a new user logs in through the admin portal, it actually connects their admin account up with the correct permission sets and so forth like that. We don't create any default users in the database. The idea being is you send those particular values through, and first time setup does that. Alright, so complete your profile. Does not gather all the information required to create the super user. First name, last name. You'll need to update the data yourself. Under the user option in the nav bar, click on my profile. This will take you to your profile. Edit the profile appropriately. Set up. All right, cool. And this just goes through the proper sort of procedures. They should all be connected. I'm happy with the first time setup. The manage users, I'm pretty happy with this. Manage groups. Each group will require a unique name. Users can be multiple groups with different permissions to each group. Permission sets can be stacked for users within the group. There's a lot of notes for that. I might rewrite this just because, yeah, there's a lot of notes. So, yeah. We also probably don't need to create groups. That's the thing. So, yeah, manage permissions. Permission sets in NearBeach gives you the ability to classify how much access a particular user can have to a certain object. That doesn't need to be note, that needs to be actual writing. I'll go through and probably rewrite a lot of this. And then, yeah, we're back to the set. Yeah, all right, cool. So system variables, let's jump into here. Let's open up system variables. So we've got this system variables. Now I am going to break this down into sort of chapters. I'm going to be, so the Django system variables. That I will have to look up max file size and all that kind of stuff in a second. I'm going to open up, I've got NearBeach open anyway, so I can just open up the settings. So yeah, under here we want to go into the local and we want to open up the settings. So the settings on the local sort of setup shows you what is all connected. We can also look at the Docker files themselves to be like, all right, these are the different variables that we're passing through to settings, and we'll do that as a double check too. So in here, we've got, we don't worry, actually, yeah, we worry about a lot of this. So I'm also going to go and go NearBeach, not NearBeach, sorry, GitHub, NearBeach, Docker. And I am just going to open up the Ocean Suite here because this will also tell me which things get imported. So we get the base directory, quick start, unsuitable for production. Oh yeah, I need to clean this out. So the secret key is here. So if I go in here, so we've got, and we should flag which system variables are required. So I'm going to go up here and go required. We're just going to key that secret key in. The idea being is I will probably have at the top of the page, these are your required ones. Then I have a link directly to them. All right, so we've got the Django system variables. We'll have the database. So we'll have the MySQL, Maria database, SQLite, do Postgres. I'm hoping YouTube hasn't fallen over. No, I've got good. Alright. If I remember after stream, I'll increase the settings. And then my Oracle. And then I'm just double checking that. So Django database. So we've got Postgres, Myriad, my Oracle. Yeah, alright, cool. So I'll have those in there. And then I'll have Azure Blob Storage. Then I'll have S3/Minio storage. I could blob storage, and then under there Azure, and then under there S3/Minio. That way it's sort of structured. You're like, oh, okay, blob storage, yep, sweet. So we have required things that definitely need to be set in the system, otherwise you're going to have a problem. We have the Django system variables, which we'll go through and sort of update, and essentially we'll update this list as we go along. So yes. All right, so we've got the secret key, we've got that in. Debug. Now that defaults to false, if you have not set it. That one is set allowed hosts. And that is a definite required. Otherwise, it will default to everything, which is not what you want. Trusted URLs. Oops. So we've got trusted URLs. All right, so we're happy with that. And then that's just the installed apps. That's just the middleware stuff. That's just all of that. Yeah, we're handling the databases like this. And yeah, I think that's common. So it might be one of those sort of cases where I don't worry too much about all the databases. I just put it in and be like, all right, cool, this is what you want to do with all these databases. All right, so auth, that's perfectly fine. I need to clean this file up, and we have just hit an ad. All right, how's everyone going? Hopefully you're going well. For those on YouTube, which probably is none at the moment because I'm getting so many warnings saying it is not working. Yeah, we run ads every half an hour. So yeah, that's just for the, we run ads every half an hour on Twitch to stop the free rolled ads because they suck. We tend to do this. So yeah, don't worry about it. Hopefully everyone's going well tonight. And yeah, we're just gonna quickly solve this cube. Alright, about 30 seconds left of the ads, so yeah, I'll have this solved well before then. In fact, I think I'm only a couple of blocks moves away. There we go, all done. So yeah. All right. Oh, sorry, a bit good. Okay, move that over there. All right, cool. Yep. And 6 seconds. Okay, welcome back. All right, getting back into this. So we've got all that sort of sorted. We've got the REST framework. We don't worry about the REST framework. We've got nothing porting through there. We've got the default Nox sort of stuff coming through. Yeah, that should be fine. All right. Oh, sorry. And Santosh, how are you going? Hopefully you're going well. Welcome, welcome. I just realized that the webcam is blocking some of your text. Hopefully you're going well. We are writing documentation tonight. It's been a while. All right, so we'll need the AWS key. So that will go down here. I'm fine with that being like that. So we'll add in this. AWS secret key, easy done. The storage bucket name. The endpoint. All right, easy done. Now with the other one, check to see if we are importing Azure credentials. I've just put AWS under, yeah. Sorry about that. That was, I had a massive brain fart moment. All right. It is Friday. You're a newbie? Well, welcome, welcome. I do hope you are enjoying my content. So, yeah. Oops. I'm just doing some documentation. I want to learn JavaScript and be good at backend. Can you guide me? Well, my recommendations are to build something. Doesn't have to be large, doesn't have to be complicated or anything like that. It's just something small. A little tiny thing that you can potentially do within an hour. And then build something different, and then something else, and something else. And then slowly work your way up to building something big. If you're, I don't know what your skill level is with JavaScript, but what you could do, we recommend Free Coca. But there's a bunch of other tools out there that you can use. But what you can do with JavaScript is you can open up the web developer tools of your browser, go in here, and you can start actually typing in here. And yeah, where do you learn this? Free Codecat. But otherwise, if you want to open up the console stuff, just Google, depending on your browser. So for example, my browser is Firefox, so you can go Firefox, open Web Developers Console. And it'll tell you. Have no experience in JavaScript, that's perfectly fine. What you could do is you can open up this console and you can actually start typing into it. So for example, you can go var a equals hello world. And you're like, all right, cool, a, hello world, cool, done. From there you can go b equal var b equals a dot split, and you go b and it's an array of hello world, and then you're like, all right, cool, but that's a length of one. How do I actually split all of those into individual characters? Well, you can be like a dot split, and then, oh, look at that, boom. And then from there, you can start doing some fun stuff. So for each, hang on, I've done this wrong. A dot for each, no. Let's go b equals a dot split, and then we do something like that. And then we go b dot for each, and let's go row. And then what we want to do is we're just going to go, let's just print out row. Oh, I didn't do anything. I was meant to go console log. There we go. Oops, I typed row instead of the variable. Oh. There we go. So yeah, that's essentially where you would start. Just play around with the web dev console, see what you can do. Free Code Camp, Google, your friend. You can do wonderful things in this console. So for example, let's say I want to actually select this particular header. All right, and I want to programmatically change it. What I could do in the console, I'll zoom in for this particular one. I want to go, let's go var a equals document.get element by tag name. So we're looking for anything that is a h1. So we've got one h1 on there. So let's go var b equals a, and we're just grabbing the first one. There we go. What we can do then is we can go style.color equals, I'm going to put hot pink. And yeah, there you go, done. So yeah, start with the basics, see what can be done, manipulating the DOM. You don't need to spend too long on this. Simple Google search it will help you with that. And then once you get used to the language, I do recommend Free Code Camp. You'll be learning something like variables, loops, if statements, and all that kind of fun stuff. And yeah, when you're ready, you can start building projects whenever you want to. So yeah, if you learn something, you're like, oh, I'm going to build this little tiny project. Do it. Build it. Just do it. Go ahead. And then my other recommendation is in, let's say, a couple of weeks or something like that, come back to that first couple of projects, have a look, see if you can do it better. And the reason why I tell you that is because you would have learned a lot in that time, and you can make it better and do. So yeah, I come back to a lot of my code in the future and make it better. So don't be ashamed of that. So yeah. All right, Azure Container, did we put that one in? Yes, we did. Let's find the next. So we've got if debug, static URL, menu root. So we're not sending that in, but we do have SMTP stuff. So that's part of up here. Oh, I'm going to actually put this as email/SMTP settings. So yeah, what we want to do is we just want to include that. We want to include that. And then one reason why I want to do it like this is so that we don't lose it. And that it does stand out on its own. This is SMP specific stuff. We might put it under the Django settings. But yeah, so those are all the settings. Now that is definitely Django. So the session cookie age. Oops. This one. Whoops. No socks. Sorry, socks. She put out her paw as I was grabbing the mouse, and she's like, "Eh." So, all right. Oh, there she goes. She's like, "I just wanted to get up and sit right in front of the screen where you can't see." Ooh, the documentation cleanup code. Yeah, it'll be good. It'll be good. And don't get discouraged by how much there is to learn. You'll be surprised how much you can run with very little knowledge with programming and stuff like that. There's a thing called refactoring. So for example, let's say you build in a feature and then later on you're like, oh, I'll learn about this particular functionality in the code. Oh, I'm going to refactor that section to actually implement this because this is a lot cleaner and a lot easier to maintain. That has happened before. So I used to use quite what's called mix-ins. Sorry, mix-ins are reusable chunks of code that you can put anywhere. The idea is you can call them up and they're like, all right, cool. I'm going to do that. The newer method for VueJS is composables. Essentially the same sort of concept, except new functionality, done a lot better. So I rewrote that section to use the composables. And yeah, someone just came in and was like, why aren't you using this? And I don't know, but I didn't know about that. Cool. And I started doing it. So, oops, I'm standing on the keyboard. Who's here? All right. So login, two-factor login, I think that's all the configuration that we actually need to pass down. So yeah. All right, stream is healthy apparently. Finally. It's weird. Yeah, it's still doing the same bit rate. Oh, I don't know what's happening. All right. So that's all of our stuff. So we've got system variables. And I want to have the following system variables are required by NearBeach. And I think it is, we do something like that and we go secret key allowed hosts and CSRF trusted URLs. All right, the following Django system variables are required. All right, cool. And that will hopefully tell the user you need to actually go to the Django system required variables section. So now I just need to read the docs things. Headings. I just need to find headings to get the layers right and how they're done. Chapters, titles, and sections. All right, so that will be all hashtags. So instead of that, that should actually be hashtag. Thanks, socks. Don't do that, please. We get rid of that. And then we've got a chapter. So these will be chapters. And then we've got the titles and so forth like that. I need to go through my documentation and actually update quite a lot of this to do things properly. So for the title, with overline for parts, subtitle for overline for the chapters. All right, for sections. All right, yes. Oh, all right, cool. So I've probably done that wrong. What did I have there? I had equals. Which is a section. So yeah, I need to go through my documentation and actually standardize it properly instead of doing whatever I've done. All right, so if I edit this on GitHub, let's see how they've done it. I'm just looking at the raw file. There's nothing wrong with that. So they've got, oh, all right. So they're doing that. Which is the title. So, all right, cool. So I'll do that. And we've got the basic details. And then after the title, we've got the sections. So subtitle or sections. I'm going to go sections. Makes a bit more sense. Yeah. So this will be the Django system variables. And that will be, I think, just the equals. And then under that, we've got the subsections, which is just a single line. All right, cool. And then we'll have, I am going to cheat. Oh, almost. All right, cool. That didn't do exactly what I wanted, but you know what, that's fine. Actually, I'm gonna quickly undo that. I realized that there's a few mistakes in there. Let's not do that. What I want to do is I want to go here. I'm just going to remove all those spaces. I'm just going to yank. Actually, I'm going to do that. I'm going to muck that up. Yank 3 lines. I'm just going to paste, 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 and then I'm just going to fill this out. The idea here is these will be the system variables. We'll also write a brief instruction of what's going to be here and any links of any actual required information and what the default is. So we need to delete those. All right, cool. So we've got the secret key. I need my mouse. Yeah, can you hop in bed? All right, I'm just gonna go Django secret key. All right, we are going to write dev in here. We are going to find secret key. And we're going to copy this. So in here, we're going to write default is going to be, I think, nothing. Secret key, a secret key for particular danger in the. All right, so. This is using oi. All right, cool. Yep. All right, cool. All sessions. Yep. I'm default that. More information, and now I've got to do a link, which I think is something like this. Probably not. Give me a couple of seconds. Let's read the docs. We want tables and contents. We want mathematics. Hyperlinks. All right, so a cool website and the all right. Link text is putting after some text. The is used to group text, allowing you to include multiple words in your link text. All right, cool. You should use the backtick even when the link text is only one word. All right, cool. This keeps the syntax consistent. Sweet. All right. Target is defined as ... link text. Cool website, target, reference style. Right, I'm just gonna edit on GitHub because we've got a couple of hyperlink targets on there. So what we could do is we'll just look at the raw once again. Okay, and then they've got okay. Oh, and Stykid, welcome. I do hope you are enjoying my content as I try and remember how I did this. I think we'll do it like that. And I think that is, yeah, gets reference, and then you can have one reference point, and yeah, it's been a while since I've written the documentation. You can tell because there's hardly any documentation in there. Soxy, stop doing that. Move information, more information, not move information, more information can be located on the Django documentation. We're just going to paste that in. We will do this, and then at the end do this and an underscore. We then want to key that one in. I'm just going to copy and paste. I don't know the shortcuts for that. So I'm just going to go in here. Like that. We are going to put this up at the top. More information can be found here. That's not doing what I want it to do. Docutils. Huh. Oh, that's the wrong one. Just gonna have a look at the raw again. So docutils. Diref. Basic specification. Diref external. Alright, write to me with your questions, Python to do write to me. Alright, do we just go, let's just copy that, let's just paste that down there. Let's get rid of that. Up here, let's just get rid of that. Located on the document. And then we do an underscore. Yep. And then down here. From the Python, okay. So be kind of like that. And then I want it like that. Sorry, I'm trying to, I don't know how to do this properly. So we're figuring this one out tonight. And then I think that's how we do it. Yeah, we got a colon. Yeah, all right. And I don't know if that's meant to belong at the very, very bottom of the page. I don't know, I'll keep it there just for the moment because it's useful to be in there. So more information can be loaded on the Django. We recommend setting this with, and then I'm just going to look up the Django. Whoops. This is the secret key generator. No, this might not be safe for production, such as is pointed out in the post below, but copy and paste this after running for an example key. Indeed, you can use the same function for... Oh, we're on an ad break. Cool. Hopefully everyone's going well tonight. So, yeah. Just getting this done. Yeah, I've just got to figure out the best practice for generating a secret key. So that way I'll be like, this is what we recommend doing. And so forth like that. So, yeah. Yeah, usually when you create a Django environment and stuff like that, it will generate a key for you. So that's what I tend to do. So, yeah. Anyway, we're about 35 seconds left of the ads. Yeah, hoping, yeah, they'll be finished soon. We're also joined here by Socks, who she's like, hello. She's like, I've probably caused some problems. All right. Okay, and oh, nearly dropped the cube. And welcome back, everyone. Oh wait, wasn't that ads and I've just, oh shoot. Sorry, I read that wrong. Ads will start any minute now. All right, cool. Indeed, you can use the same function, start project. Note, however, it's not very difficult from your version. All right, cool. Python. All right, if you're using Python 3.6 plus, you can use the secrets, token hex, and bytes none function. Oh, what does this do? All right, we're just playing around now. There's our ads. All right, I'm terribly sorry. I went to ads way too quickly. I didn't read the thing correctly. All right, so that generates a massive token. All right, all right, so that one got put in a couple of years ago. This was asked 8 years ago. So this one was asked. This one answered several years ago. Okay. I'm just going to look up best practice. All right, hang on. Python 3, C, import, from Django dot, this is where I'm gonna have to look up some stuff. We'll import all of that. Import that, and then it's that, and then it'll be print get random secret key. So we've got that method. I don't know if that's the best way to do it. All right, I just restarted the Django Pulse tutorial out of pure frustration. I was trying to restart the when I pushed the project to GitHub, it told me that there was a secret key upload. Apparently it's a big no-no. Yeah, it's a big no-no. I went to Stack Overflow and found this article accessing GitHub secret key. It's talking about GitHub workflows directly. I made such a file. Is that something? All right, cool. Yeah, you dump things. So usually you dump things in an environment file and stuff like that. In our case with the Docker, it's actually requesting that information from the Docker environments and so forth like that. For our local dev environments, we're not so worried about it because, well, it's a dev environment. You should be running a dev environment in production mode. And if you were, if you wanted to run NearBeach in a certain way, you would definitely replace that. Credit password. So yeah, you got to learn. And he's done that. Like that. All right, cool. However, they've done it like, yeah, they've done it like that too. All right, cool. We did a bit of research. They've done it like that. All right, I'm going to recommend this article. We recommend setting up this variable using the following information from this blog. And then I want to go following information from this blob. And then I want to paste that in. And then I want to go to the end. And remember, I've got to do this in backticks. Like so. All right, that. Okay. More information alert, we recommend. All right, cool. Debug. Default will be false. Only use this on production to debug an issue. All right, cool. Allowed hosts. More information. Can be found. Can be located on the Django documentation. All right. More information can be located on the Django documentation. I am going to make this very, very generic. I'm going to delete these two. I'm going to go to the very, very end. We've got our links at the very, very end. Essentially, I'm going to be reusing this one. So more information can be... more information can be found on the Django documentation. I'm just making sure that this is definitely going to be the same text. All right, cool. Now, allowed hosts. We actually do in our documentation have some documentation on this, right? So we're going to go up, quick install with NearBeach Docker. I think actually, so allowed hosts. All right, cool. We're going to grab a couple of examples. The allowed hosts. All right, configuration will allow multiple allowed hosts to be used. Each use simply by a. All right, cool. Configuration will allow multiple allowed. No. I think that doesn't sound nice. All right, cool. Allowed host. More information can be found on Django documentation. Allowed hosts should reference which URLs will be connected to the NearBeach system. If there are multiple URLs, each URL can be separated by a comma. Examples. All right, cool. Example. And then I'm just going to use this as code. We're just going to paste that in like that. We should do something like this. And we also want one localhost 127.0.0.1. I want to talk about example, all of those. All right, cool. Allowed host should reference which URLs can, if there are multiple URLs, each will do not include the HTTP/HTTPS or the do not include the or port number. Do not include the following HTTPS port number. All right, cool. Easy done. Cool. Oh, sorry, ability order. Now I want to do this in alphabetical order. So allowed host is definitely up at the top. Debug won't be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. along under there. That will along there. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That will belong there. All right, so I think we could shrink that up. All right. Do not include the HTTP or port number. Right, cool, done. And then we've just got a couple of examples. I will probably, actually, yeah, we want to keep it as code. We want to tell the thing that, listen, this is code. And that these will be like that. And then we've got the CRF sort of stuff. We're just going to grab that because, hey, it's going to be the same information. We've also got to have on here, default will allow all hosts. And then CSRF trusted URLs will should reference the exact URLs form submissions will be coming from. If there are multiple URLs, each URL can be separated by a comma. Please include the HTTP/HTTPS and port number, and if required, port number. All right, so default will allow all hosts. Not recommended. We do not recommend. I'm going to also put we do not recommend over here. We do not recommend. All right, example. That actually should be something like that. I shouldn't be doing it like that. So let's go back down here. Let's go and let's actually grab our examples from over here. All right, so I like that. We might do another one down here and just do yes test.nearbeach.org 8080. Do we need 8080? No, I don't think we need 8080. I'll leave it in. That won't be a problem. All right, cool. So debug, we've done debug, we're happy with debug. Documentation cleanup. Now, I don't think I've actually got an example in here. No. All right, so documentation cleanup. Let's go into here. Actually, I don't think it'll be in this one. It'll actually be in our source code. So going into here, document cleanup is false. So default false. used to notify the system to run periodic checks to clean up the blob storage from any documentation that does not currently have a link to any object within NearBeach. It is designed so that all documentation that has been removed is cleaned from the blob storage. Default will be false. All right, cool. So example. This would be pretty easy to do. So documentation cleanup equals true. I'm just also doing one for false. Done. And that's it. Document cleanup after number of days. Used to notify the system the period on which to run the document cleanup process. Please see above. Please see document. All right, cool, cool. Default will be, and I think it's 90 days. Yeah, default will be 90 days. And then we just want to go example, and we're just going to go documentation clean after days equals, let's go 120. Let's do 365 and let's do 7. And then we're going to go clean up every 120 days, cleaned up once a year, and then cleaned up each week. Easy done. Okay, did you want to get down? There goes me. Okay. Max upload file size. Sweet. So this is I don't know. I do believe this is a Django setting. I'm trying to remember if it is. No. All right. This is something we've done. Hey Mohammed, how are you going? Hopefully you're going well. I'm going good. I'm glad it's the end of the week. I'm just so tired from the week. Hopefully you're going well. So what we want to do is we want to go in. I haven't written. The maximum size for a file to be uploaded in bytes. Easy done. Cool. Then we just want to do example. We want to do default first. Default will be, and then we just, whoops. We go back into NearBeach and we go over wherever I put this. We copy this one. Will be bytes. Easy done. And I do believe it is a lowercase b, not an uppercase b, so I'm going to change that. You'll find, oh, that's good to hear. We want to do max file size upload equals. I think that's. $104 megabytes. I don't know why I picked. I don't know why I picked it like that. One kilobyte, easy done. Then we're just going to put on 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we go megabyte. Not 4, sorry, 3. Nice. Your subscribers are gradually increasing. Yeah, no, it's good. Slowly. I think I have a few lurkers, which I love lurkers. They're great. I fully understand why people lurk. 1, 2, 3. That will be now 1 gigabyte. I think that's meant to be like that. And kilo mega bigger. Yeah, we don't want users to go mental, so I'll leave it at that. So yeah, that one's okay. Session cookies age. That one is definitely more information can be found on Django. We are looking at the default for that. So the session cookie age defaults to the Django's version. So if we go over, I'm just going to close quite a lot of these tabs because we don't need them anymore. I've got way too many open. I'm going to close that one. I'm going to close the whiteboard. I'm going to close that. I'm going to, I'm just going to close that. I'm going to keep that one open. I'm going to close that. I'm going to close that. I'm going to close that. I'm going to keep that one open. I'm going to keep that one open. I'm going to keep one of these open for reference. So settings. And I didn't take a copy of it. Session cookie age. 2 weeks in seconds. All right, cool. Default 2 weeks in seconds. 2 weeks. We just have to put that. Used to define how long a session cookie will last. Okay, cool. That's pretty much it. So we can go example in here. We're just going to go session cookie age equals. We're going to grab the default one. And then I'm going to put 2 weeks in seconds. Default 2 weeks. Default, actually, I'm going to put that one in seconds, 2 weeks. All right, cool. We'll grab one of these. We'll just do 3360, and that will be 24 hours. Cool. I don't think we need that many in here to tell the user what's going to happen. All right, session save cookie every request. We are going to do something like this. We are actually going to copy this. We're going to go like this. Oh, sorry, I didn't copy that right. Okay, whether to say the session data on request, if false default, then the session data will only be saved if it's been modified. That is, if any of the dictionary values have been assigned or deleted. Empty sessions won't be created. All right, cool. Yeah, I'm just gonna do it like that. Default false. Easy done. I'm just going to grab the examples where I got true and false up here. No need to rewrite everything. All right, so we've done that one. So that's the Django system variables. Now the next sort of thing is, do I have all of this in alphabetical order? I potentially should do that. That way when someone sees it on the right, it's all in alphabetical order. Cool, done. I can go here. It's not in some jumbled sort of thing. So databases should belong out more at the top. So I'm just going to cut those because that becomes before Django. So I'm just going to paste those in there for the reference. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to do something like this, and then it's, oops, the equals, and then we've got all the keys and stuff like that. Which we'll actually copy from over here again. So we'll scroll up to the database section, and we just need to copy these. Yeah, all right. So we've got database engine. We've got database host. We've got database port. You got database. Got database user. And database password. Easy done. We can get rid of all of that. So, I'm putting these once again in alphabetical order. The reason being is it just makes life so much more simpler whenever you're searching sort of documentation. You can be like, all right, cool, I'm after this. Where is the this for this? And it's right there. All right, so we've got the database. We are quite literally going to, more information can be found on the Django documentation. So we are going to go to the Django SQL documentation. Sorry, databases, because we shouldn't want to do, there we go. Actually, we want to use dev. So I'm just going to copy this. I'm going to go with our backtick, and we've just hit an ad break. All right, welcome. I'm just going to quickly write some quick information. So more information on Django databases can be found on their documentation. And then I'm going to do a full stop. I'm going to do the backtick again and an underscore. And then I'm just going to go to the very, very bottom. And I'm just going to add it in. More information on the Django databases. Under more information on the Django databases can be found on the documentation. I'm going to paste that in. And then I'm going to delete that one line. All right, cool. Sorry. I was just quickly getting it out of my head onto the into the documentation. So yeah. All right. Let's get this cube quickly. Ooh, nearly dropped it. Quickly solved. We've got about 20 seconds of the ads left. Hopefully everyone's going well. It is Friday. It is 8:41. So yeah. I don't know what I'm doing tonight. I was meant to get back from my partner, but you know, and then I'm going to be like, All right. So, welcome back, everyone. All right, cool. Let's jump straight back into it. We're not going to overly elaborate with this documentation. Once again, a lot of this is like, all right, cool. There's more information with the thing. Here's the options. So, the no default is set. So this is actually required. So this will be database, DB database. It'll be also DB engine. It will be DB host. This will be DB password, or not. Yeah, not required. And DB user, I think. Oh, I don't think we can get the SQLite one working. So DB host, DB password, DB port, and DB user. Yeah, they're all required, even if empty. So no default is set. User will need to set. All right, so if we, this is part of the DB database. So if we have a look at this, the database name, more information can be there. This represents the name of the database. And then we'll go example, and we do something like this. So DB database equals NearBeach underscore database. Yeah, that's pretty much it with the examples. DB engine, we can copy this. We can actually paste in a lot of this very, very quickly because, yeah, it'll be the same information over and over again. Oh, I shouldn't have done that. Oh, well, doesn't matter. So more information can be found on that. This represents the database engine. That database engine. All right, cool. No default is set. Set user will need to set. All right, cool. So I'm also going to essentially go example. We're going to go like this. We're going to open up this. We're going to go DB engine equals, and then we're going to go over here, and we're just going to copy. It'll be Postgres. And then connects to a Postgres database. All right, cool. And then I'm just going to copy those like that very, very quickly because I'm just going to quickly copy and paste stuff. To use Django supports MariaDB. To use MariaDB, use the MySQL backend, which is shared in. Yep. All right. Cool. This will be MySQL. Connects to either a MySQL or MariaDB database. This one, all right, so we've got those two. This will be Oracle. Connects to an Oracle database. All right, cool. So I think that's pretty much it. What I want to grab is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But I'm going to grab 5 of those. I'm just going to paste them in like this. We'll set this up properly in a second. I just want to get the basic sort of what we're doing in here. All right, so we'll scroll up. We've just done database engine. We've done DB host. So connects to a database at localhost. That will be 127.0.0.1. We're just going to grab another one and like that. I'm also adding in an extra space down there. I'm just going to go, let's say, NearBeach DB dot cloud services dot hosting connects to a database at NearBeach dot cloud services dot hosting. Okay, cool. We should also put something in here. This represents the location of the database. Easy done. Password. This is the password for the database. Easy done. Password equals my secret password. We don't need a comment. Alright, so this represents the port for the database. We also need to do something like that because we want our documentation to be spaced correctly. No default. Alright, the port. And I've just realized that I have not DB engine, DB host. I'm just going to copy, I'm just going to cheat. All right, DB password. DB port. 3306. I don't know the default port for Postgres. 5432. Okay, we'll just have those on. All right, DB user. Just gonna paste that in. So this is the username. What did we say for the password? This is the username for the database. And then we just do something like that. And then we go NearBeach database user. Okay, I'm happy with that. That was done pretty well, I think. Famous last words. So the next thing we want to do is the blob storage, which comes at the very, very top. Oof. And then the email stuff, which happens after, yeah, email stuff will happen at the very, very bottom. All right, cool. So I'm just going to copy that blob storage. We're just going to paste it in like this. We're going to go all the way up to the top. We're going to remove those. We're just going to go equals. And now we're going to break this down even further. So we're going to have an Azure one and then a S3 Minio one. So yeah, in this sort of case, we want to go Azure, and that will be like that. And then we want to go S3/Minio, and we want to do something like that. Easy done. I'm just going to grab these two. I'm just going to paste them up there. We're just going to delete that. We're just going to delete that. We're just going to bring that all the way to the front. Whoops. We also want to do something like that. Oops. I want to do. All right, cool. I want to go back here. I want to have a look at table of contents. No. Headings, heading parts. Yes. All right, cool. So we've got the section with the hyphens. All right, we now need a subsection. All right, cool. So I'm just going to do these little tops. Oh, not the ands, sorry, the tops. All right, Azure Storage Connection String. All right, Azure Portal, get Azure Blob Storage Connection String. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to point people directly at documentation. It's going to be 10 times simpler to do that. So where can I find the account? Does it really just go here? Protect your user storage. All right, configure. All right. Do they have this in the portal? Nope. That was bad of me. All right, so Azure Portal Blob connection string. All right, connections. All right. Probably not. I will probably just go up and just go Azure Portal Blob, Azure Blob Storage. We need more information about this. Resources. Managing containers, generate shared access signature. We don't have connection strings. All right. Oh, sorry. Here we go. Yep. All right. Sweet. This is what we want. What we want is this one directly. We've got. Okay. Cool. So. Please refer to the Microsoft Azure documentation for setting up and obtaining the connection string. do an example, but first, please, oh wait, hang on. So I've done that. All right, I'm going to grab an example of a connection string. Just give me a couple of minutes. Access control. All right. Yep. Storage browser. Sorry. Blob containers. Application test. That way, if I accidentally drop this, you know, I want to go to so we've got the connection string. I'm going to be careful with this. Very, very careful. Alright, I think that should do. Give me a couple of seconds. I've had issues with copy and paste in the past. Alright, cool. We've got it. So I'm not going to accidentally dox myself. So that will be Azure Storage Connection String equals. And then it'll be something like that. Default HTTP default and connection string alert default and alert. We don't actually have the HTTPS like that. That's should be fine. Yeah, that's a good enough example. Down here, we're once again 1, 2, 3. We'll just go like that. Go like that. We'll also go down here and we'll go. So that will be the Azure Storage Container name equals blob storage. Easy done. All right, and then we're going to do the same with this AWS stuff. Now, I should double... Something's pinging me about that. All right, give me a couple of seconds. I'm actually going to have a look at my app service. I am going to double check with my app service what I've got set up. Yeah, all right, cool. It is literally just that. All right, cool. Yep. Awesome. So yeah, let's jump back into it. So we've got that example in there. With this one, So actually, we won't need that. This will be simply the name of the Azure Blob storage. Easy done. Cool. All right. AWS access. Alright. Okay, I'm just going back over here. AWS Voto 3 documentation. Because we'll refer people back to this. So this should be a quick start. Except, alright, cool. Let's setting all of that up. That should be configuration. Before using the Voto 3, you'll need to set up authorization using either IAM. Alright. Or you can either create one. Hey, sucks. Oh, I don't want to log in. So, in here, what we actually want to do, simple backtick. Please refer to for setup of AWS S3 connections, please refer to the AWS IAMS documentation. That will actually be this one. So we'll create that very, very quickly. So we'll go down, to the very, very bottom. We'll add a new line for setup of the AWS. We'll do that. Easy done. And I think we're at around 40. For setup, for reference of, all right, cool. For further reference, let's Minio. We don't want to install administration, objects, and versioning. We want to we don't want installation, we want access, control, and policy management. There we go. All right, Socks, you want up? Yes. Yes. You're like, no. All right, in here for further, all right, for setup of Minio blob, Minio connections, please refer to the Minio access control. Access control documentation. Alright, cool. Get that up there. We want a line after that. We also want something like this. And then we want that. And then we just paste that in. Easy done. And I forgot what line we're at. I'm just going to go 50 and hope for the best. Easy done. That was great. What I want to do is, we just want to put it in here. And then we want to go in here and then for any Boto 3 information, please refer to the Boto 3 documentation. Easy done. All right, cool. That's 50. All right, cool. I didn't grab that properly. All right, cool. Fox is in the way again. All right, so that should be back to 50. Easy done. And then AWS key. This references the access key ID. This references the secret access key. This references the S3 bucket name. This references the S3 endpoint URL. I'll need to put in examples in here, so give me a couple of seconds. I think I've got Minio running, so that will be localhost 9001. I'm just going to log in. We're just going to create an access key very, very quickly. We're just going to go create. We're literally just copying that. So an example would be AWS access key ID equals, and we're just going to paste in something random like that. That doesn't matter. I'm going to be deleting all of that anyway, so don't worry about that. Example, this would be like this, and it'll be AWS secret access key equals, and then we're going to do, sucks, I need my mouse. We're just going to copy this. That's all done like that. And then this will be example. This will be simple as going in here. AWS storage bucket name equals, and then we're going to put NearBeach bucket. And this will be example. And this will be AWS S3 endpoint URL equals, and we're just going to HTTP localhost 9000 like so. We're going to copy that, and we're just going to make something like HTTPS S3 bucket NearBeach.cloud storage .com. All right, cool. There we go. All right, I will be back in a little while whilst the ads are on. I just need to go to the bathroom. Yeah. All right, cool. I am back. Sorry about that. All right. So let's jump right back into it. All right. Yeah, I think that one's done. So now down here, I'm just reminding myself it's 2 lines, yeah. Down here will be the email stuff. So it'll be email /SMTP. We'll just do a bunch of equal signs. We're all happy with that. And then we just delete all of that. And then we just go like something like that. And all right. Oops. Okay. Down. Nope. No, you're not allowed to do that. Not only am I trying to work, but you're putting yourself on a rickety monitor stand, Socks. All right. I'm just going to go over here. We're not gonna. I just created one of them, didn't I? Which one did I just create? Because I will just try it right now. Okay, cool. This one, delete. All right, cool. Yeah, don't worry about the credentials or anything. This is on my local. It's a test sort of thing. I cycle them out fairly regularly. Yeah. All right, the next thing we want to do is Django SMTP. So this will actually be the Django settings SMTP. Set files, core settings. Let's have a look. SMTP. All right, cool. So let's scroll all the way down to the. Oh, I should have just done that with the. Yeah. Yeah, all right, cool. I might actually copy those tables and paste them up further up. So, more information on Django SMTP can be found on their documentation. All right, cool. Easy done. And then, oops, I want to do more information on alert can be found on there. Yep. And then we just paste in that. All right, cool. We're happy with that. The host, the SMTP host. Yeah, these are SMTP email port, SMTP email host user, SMTP email host password. I mean, at this particular point in time, these are very short. But that's it. That's all it really is you just copy it. All right, cool. Anyway, document size. All right, hang on. Max file size upload. We're just going to paste this table in. Easy, done. Human readable, cool. With this one will be the session cookie age. And we're just going to paste those in like that. And then I'm just going to get rid of those. Max file size, upload, yep, that's perfectly fine. I'm going to put the examples in. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go Google SMTP. I'm going to go and what's another one? So there's like Google SMTP. There is AWS Simple Email Service. Do we want AWS SES documentation? We don't need much. We just need the documentation. Developers Guide, API reference. All right, cool. Email host. SMTP email host. All right. AWS SMTP endpoints. Okay. All right. So we'll grab these. All right. Cool. Yeah, we'll grab one of these. But we'll also do it with the Google and so forth like that. So we'll grab two. We'll grab 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 4 actually. Actually, I don't like that. Yeah, just getting rid of that. So in here, we'll copy this. We'll key it in here. Like so. Where's the Google one? Actually, that would be host and then the port. Oh yeah, and then I gotta go in here and I gotta go like that and go port. And then I gotta go down here and I've got to do that. And I've got to write user. And then I gotta do the same thing down here. Password. All right, cool, easy done. So emailing relay Do they have ports on here? All right, I'm just going to cover the same ports that are over here. All right, so in here, yada yada yada, we're just going to go SMTP like that. We're going to paste that in like that, and then we're just going to use the same port. We're going to go 465. So down here we've got 465. I remember setting these up all the time. I'm just going to do it like that. People will find out. And hi, hit the honey. How are you going? Hopefully you're going well. Welcome, welcome. Sorry, I just saw your chat just then. I've been deep thinking about this. SMTP user. Secret password, and that is done. All right, so that was a big document that we've just done. However, I like it. I think we're handling everything. So instead of having something small, we've actually got something large now. Yeah. Now, basic usage. Once again, I'm going to change that so we no longer have basic usage. It's all going to be up at the top case. Common usage. Once again, I'm going to do that same thing. Procedures. I'm going to do that same thing again, like what I've done before. Because yeah, I don't like how it's collapsing and stuff like that. So we're going to quickly fix that up. We should also, I can close that. I can minimize all of that now. I'm just going to open up and focus on just the documents. So going from the top, we've just done administration, basic usage. We're going to open up index. We're going to scroll down to basic usage. I'm just hearing a random noise. We're going to cut these out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We're just going to cut those out. And for the basic usage, we're just going to paste them in. And we're happy with that. And I think max depth 1 for this particular case. I think also 1 for here. Local development setup. Let's have a look. Yeah, we've changed that to I think that's fine for that one, but for these particular ones, I think 1. It's just going to do it. Common usage, 1 also. So going to scroll down. I'm just going to delete that. We're going to open up common usage. That will not be under there. That will be under there. Oh. All right, I'm going to undo that. We haven't actually done any of those documentations yet. We'll need to actually do that. So yeah, add. In fact, that will actually technically belong under basic usage. Like that. Reason being is it's still a part of those sort of objects. It is really basic sort of stuff, common usage. And that will go under there. The procedures themselves, so yeah, I don't like how that's set anymore. I'm just going to delete these 3. I'm just going to go down here. I'm just going to paste it in, delete this, max of 1. We're actually happy with that. Actually, oh, is it max depth for 2 for these? We'll find out. We'll find out. In a minute. So, number 6, procedures. I'm going to delete this one. It's no longer needed. So I'm just going to delete it. Yeah, let's get rid of it. The MISC stuff at the bottom, I'm happy with that. And that's set as 2. All right, I'm going to change these back to 2. All right, so a lot of that is, we'll go through the fixture state, object assignments and all that kind of stuff at a later date. The reason why we want that documentation out is so when people sort of write unit tests and stuff like that, they know what the fixtures do. We're leaving it in for the moment. I think there'll be a better place for this. So, yeah. All right. Let's close a bunch of documentation. Let's go Sphinx Markdown builder local. I just want to, there it is, Sphinx build. All right, cool, yep. So we're just gonna go over here. We're just gonna open up this. We're just gonna paste it in because I do believe I have it in there. Oh, hold on. Application error versions. Trace back since application in it. Cannot find source directory. Oh yeah. Alright, so what we want to do is source directory will be docs and the output would be I'm just gonna go make directory HTML docs. Alright, so we did have an error. Oh god. Oh god. So much red. Reading sources, warning, duplicate label feature, and other instance. Alright, cool. So just a bunch of warning checking consistencies. Yeah. I'm not too worried at the moment. We're going to fix this up. So I'm just going to open up this. We're going to go to sites. We're going to go to NearBeach. We're just going to go to HTML. We're going to open up the index. So this is it. This is the new documentation. The reason why we're doing it locally is there were many times I kept sending up the documentation and stuff like that. So yeah. All right. So we've got the features, we've got the flow. I've got to work on the flow too. We've got we've got different databases. Now that opens up that, which is great, so that the users can go, all right, cool. External databases, internal databases, and so forth like that. So, yep, I need someone to double check all of that work. Different blob storage, and then AWS, Minio, and so forth like that. So the different NearBeach requires blob storage that has set up local dev for developers. Yep, set up local dev. All right, that's looking a lot better. Like that. We've got the first time setup. So first time login, compare your profile and all that. Manage users. All right, so we've got that manage groups, yep, manage permission sets, yep, system variables. Yep, I like that. And then you can open up these and go down however you please, which is what I like. Are awesome. And then you got the basic usages. And then, yeah, we need to actually do that documentation. And then we got the procedures and so forth like that. All right, cool. The next thing I want to do is I'm going to close all tabs. So I'm just wondering, I probably will create this as, let's go through the warnings. Let's fix the warnings up. So HTML static path entry, static does not exist. All right, I don't know what that's about. I probably just need to create the directory. Duplicate label feature in other instance. So under about features, so if we go back into that index, so it's saying under about features, with duplicate label in other features. Okay. We just got duplicate labels and stuff like that. I think if we go up from the top down, we can fix that up. So if we open up the features, and we're going to do this. So we're going to do the titles now as this. So we recommend you alert, basic usage. All right, cool. We're happy with that. The NearBeach flow, get rid of that, get rid of that. What we're going to do is, so that's the title, and then we do the double equals, and then single, 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 single. Yep, I'm happy with that. Yeah, we just got to fix up all of this. AWS. AWS. I'm going to go AWS S3 blob. And then, yeah, I think the instructions will be good like that. So we've got the title, and then, yeah, we should do that. Okay, so going back to this, install with Docker. We haven't reached install with Docker yet. We've got the different blob storage. So different blob storage. Use Azure blob storage. All right, I'm going to use AWS S3. I think good enough title. I don't know why I've got that at the top. Let's be consistent. Consistency is nice. All right, cool. Use AWS storage, use Azure blob storage. And then we're just going to go into here. I'm just going to grab this one line and then we paste it in, and then all of that should be perfectly fine. Now, if we move to Minio, I'm just getting rid of all of that crud. Use Minio storage. We're just going to do all of that. We're just going to do that. We're just going to do that. We're just going to go up like this, and we're going to do that. All right, cool. And we're fine with all of that. And then what I want to do, okay, cool. Is I did delete something. Yeah, I'm just deleting those. I'm going to say blob storage. Storages. NearBeach requires blob storage to house any upload file. The storage will be the blob storage. You have the choice of the following, and then it will essentially be like, all right, cool, these are the things. So if we go into different blob storage, it'll be now called blob storages. And then we'll have the stuff appearing down here. We only need it really as a one. Why isn't that tree appearing? Oh, no, it is. So Azure storage, AWS. These are gonna be this. And we've just reached another ad break. All right, cool. Hopefully everyone's going well. AWS S3 buckets. And then Minio buckets. All right, cool. And yeah, that's Azure Blob Storage. And that's pretty much it for that section. I'm going to leave it like that. But whilst the ads are on, I'm going to rebuild everything. There we go. All right, cool. We're about 40 seconds left with the ads. So, yeah. All right. Okay, going like this. Very good. And welcome back, just in time. Okay, cool. So, index. I'm just going to get rid of that. We're just going to... I'm only 2% sure that it's okay to get rid of that little top one. Should be fine. Okay, all of that. We're happy with that. All right. And once again, this is the title of the thing. And then this will be like that. So we've got two. So we're doing that. And then we're doing that. And then we're doing that, and then we're doing that, and then we're doing that, and then And then we're just doing that. Okay, and then Oracle. I had a mistake in there, but we got rid of it, so no one will know. All right, so, and then we just do a bunch of equals, and then we just go, oh yeah, it's only external for this. And then we've got Postgres, and then where's all of that, and then all of that, and then that's all of that. And we get rid of that, and then we get rid of that, and I'm pretty sure, yeah, that's all the database is done very, very quickly. So quick install with Docker. I'm just getting rid of all of that. So that will be the title page. That's pretty much it. Quick install with, yeah, Podman. This is pretty similar. And I believe we are happy with these pages. It's been a while since I've actually come in and actually reviewed these pages. I should come in and review them more often, but that should be done. If we do a rebuild, we've got warning duplicate label external database. All right. We can make these unique. I'm just going to close all these tabs. What we're going to do is we're going to go up here. We're just going to go MariaDB, external database. MariaDB, database. I don't know how this will look. MySQL. This is just to get rid of those warnings. All right, cool. External database. Oh yeah, there's only one for this. PostgreSQL, external database. PostgreSQL. All right, so. Warning, HTML path entry static does not exist. All right, yeah. I know we set up something to get that done. I feel like cancel. Google. The build directory is created after you build the docs, which is why you get that error when you make the docs. And we'll copy the static directory from your source location. It's defined by All right, cool. Create the directory source, and then static, and place the static assets inside of it. Change the config to. All right, cool. That's what we've got to do. Yeah. All right, NearBeach alert, local environment, warning, undefined, labeled, quick install, Docker. Ooh. All right, so we do have a label to put back very, very quickly. Won't take us too long to do. Yeah, we can do that very, very quickly. All right, so cleaned up that. I've cleaned up that one. We've done number one. We're on number two now. So this, that's the label up there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to yank that label. I'm going to go into here, quick install with Docker. We are going to paste it. All right, so that will be that, and then I'm just going to paste it like that, and then we're going to go quick install Docker. We're going to paste it in, I think like that, and we're going to see if that works. Document isn't included in 03 administration tasks, API, RSC. Warning, document isn't included in your talk tree not included. All right, let's fix that one up. Actually, no, we can fix this one up very, very quickly. So we'll do that. Oh, all right, this now needs 10 plus. We no longer support any lower version. All right, that will be gone. Install git, install pip. In fact, if we go to this documentation itself, so this will be set up this, so the prerequisites. So all of those should be like that. All right, and then set up the project. Easy done. Oh, all right, yep. No, that should be double, that should be the equals. Just double checking, and then what we do, double equals. So what's next? So that should match that now. So I'm happy with this. We're just gonna close all the tabs. We're gonna minimize that one. We're now gonna handle this. So we've got the API, we've got the, we don't have any information about this. Yeah, so this document isn't included anywhere. So straight away, we're going to do something like this. We are going to do something like this. So this needs to be fleshed out. And what we also need to do is go to our index number 3. Administration. Oops, sorry, first time setup, manage user system variables. We're dealing with API. That will be 003 administration tasks / API done. All right, so if I rebuild this, we should be getting lots and lots of, like all the warnings should be disappearing. So checking consistencies, NearBeach 04 is included in the top tree. That might be because we have removed it and we don't need it anymore. So I am just going to just delete it. All right, that one's gone. First time setup. I don't think these are called anywhere at all. And thank you very much, Neon Guru. Welcome. I do hope you are enjoying my content. Today's just documentation, right? I mean, it's the bane of my existence. I'm terrible at it. All right, so first off, we want to do all these hashes. We want to do that. We want to have this as a higher level 1. We also want this one as a higher level 1. Just going down, yeah, pretty much all of these will be perfectly fine at that sort of level because it is. So we're happy with that. Manage groups. Once again, we're like that. Creating user groups. And that's it. And then managing permissions. This one will be a top level one. And then we got something like this. Like so. We rewrote system variables, so we don't need to worry about that at all. Oh yeah, chat's still. Yeah. All right. Cool. So, let's do a rebuild. All right. So, first time setup, undefined label, managing. All right. So we do need to put those ones back in. Not a problem. We'll do it very, very quickly. I will grab the this one very quickly. So this is managing permission sets. Managing permission sets. This is managing users. And this is managing groups. So we'll just do this. This will be manage users. And this will be manage groups. Oh, permission sets, sorry. Easy done. So once that is done, we rebuild. We don't have any more errors. Yay. That's what we want to see. Easy done. Yeah, part of the documentation cleanup. And we're almost, oh God, almost done. I'll need to do the customers and stuff like that, but the common usage one won't happen. That one's getting renamed. Actually, one thing I could do, I'll just drag it in here and then refactor that into there. I will then refactor this name and I'll refactor it like that. All right, cool. And then we've got the procedures and MISC. All right. What's the time? It's nearly 10 o'clock. I will probably wrap up pretty much soon. Now I just wanted to sort of think, do I want to do these last ones? Let's see if it builds. Nope. All right, cool, not a problem. It's the common usage one. I didn't actually find it down here. So what we've got to do is with the common usage, we are essentially doing something like that. We are pasting it in there. Okay, just muck that and paste up. 004 basic usage / there'll be common usage and then there'll be the index, and that should work. And it's all built. All right, so we're quite happy with that. Let's go back over here. Let's hit refresh over here. We should see the changes and stuff like that. So you've got the local setup, you've got the organization, the customers, and all that kind of stuff. I just need to go through these very, very quickly and just do that editing. Yeah, I've also got to do all those documentations too. Oh, this is gonna... It's one of those things that I'm like, I might tackle this on the weekend, because I can quickly get all of that done, because I'm going to have to rewrite some of this anyway. I can... Yeah. Python packages. I don't need that. Git flow, that is needed, but not here. No, it'll be useful here. Alright, let's get rid of Python packages. So I'll skip the basic usage at the moment. I'm going to get rid of Python packages, mainly because it's not needed. And then we just got to get rid of that from down here. So Python packages, we'll get rid of that. The Git flow will still happen. The deployment, I don't know if we're using the deployment anywhere else. Actually, yeah, we want a file mask. We want the file mask as RST. Yeah, we've only got it in one spot. All right, we'll get rid of that. And then we'll add that on. And we'll get rid of that. Sucks, come on. No. All right, so just going down here. All right, cool. Sweet, let's move on to the next documentation. It's the Git flow. I don't think Git flow is used anywhere else. No, all right, cool. We're getting rid of it. I don't think there's anything else that we need to do on that particular page. And then we've got a couple of cache busting stuff. All right, cool. So this is just for users who actually want to implement a cache buster. If they've got issues, feature object assignment. Oh, fixture, sorry. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Fixture standards. I don't know if these will end up staying in here. Okay, sorry, yeah, this is just a bit boring, this little task. You know how it is sometimes, you're just doing the same thing over and over again. All right, cool. That one's done. Let's have a look at the index. Cache busting, fixture other standards and objects, and yeah, we're fine with that. That's the MISC down there. In fact, I think we don't need this index. I think we do bring that in. Yeah, we do bring it in. I'm just gonna do this. We don't need it. It should be fine like that. All right, let's build everything. No errors. Ooh, all right, warning. Duplicate label under deployment. And fixture standards. All right, what did I do? All right, deployment, warning, duplicate label. All right. Socks, I need to read the screen, come on. Okay, I'm going to minimize everything. We're going to maximize it. We are going to open up the documentation. We're going to follow this. So NearBeach 6 procedures, deployments, deployment, and then 129. So deployment process 1 does have a duplicate. All right, cool. Let's do that. All right, no more warnings. All right, cool. Let's have a quick look. Let's hit refresh. Oh, all right. No, now I know why it was set like it was. All right, cool. I am actually going to undo that delete with the misc stuff. So I'm just going to put in a file in here called index.rst. I'm gonna have to go down here. We are going to cut these. Actually, in fact, I'm just gonna copy this. I'm gonna paste it in. And this should be, how have we done it before? We've done it like that. All right, cool. I'm gonna rebuild. No issues, awesome. I'm gonna hit refresh. All right, I've broken something. Okay, not a problem. What we have is Git. So I can go git checkout docs. This would be 007 misc index.rst. And there we go. I am going to close all tabs. We're going to go git status again. We've got our index, which is got nothing on it. All right. Not a problem. This is why we go back to the code base and go, all right, cool, we're going to find this. So this will be docs. This will be 7. We've got an index. We just open up the raw. We're going to copy all of that. We're going to paste it in like that. And we're going to rebuild. Then we're going to go back here. We're going to hit refresh. I'm just going to close that. I'm just going to open it up. I'm going to open up index again. I am wondering why my index here is not working. So I'm just going to get rid of that. I'm going to refresh this. We don't have any index now for the misc. So what I want to do is I want to go index, raw. We're just going to scroll all the way down to the bottom. We've got just this down here. All right, so I'm going to hit refresh. Let's do it again. Misc note. No. Alright. Socks down. So we do have this set up like that. We have technically reverted all of this. I'm just wondering. We need to turn that to a 0. It's still there. Those are headings. All right. I just want to check one thing. So that's fixture standards. Oh, I'm an idiot. All right. Nah, I know what I did. Simple fix. It's the end of the night. My brain's gone out the door. Now, it might be one of those things that we actually change these all to something like that. Where we're like, all right, cool, they're not quite as high as that. Let's do a quick test though. We've got fixture standards. So if I refresh, there we go. And then I just need to I don't know what's happening there. Okay, we've got it back down to 3. Yeah, I just need to go through here and do the correct thing. All right, fixture objects. I think that'll definitely be like that. Cache busting, yeah. Okay, so if I rebuild all of that again, let's go back down here. Let's just hit refresh. Yeah, we've got all the 3s, and then, oh, it's the cache busting that has issues. But when we click on fixture standards and object standards, it shrinks down cache busting. Yeah, let's set up at that level. Yeah. All right. So I'm just going to grab those 3. I'm going to go back down here. I'm going to scroll all the way down here. I'm just going to paste those in, and I'm going to remove that. I will remove the index in a minute. And then what we want to do is we want to hit refresh. All right, that's not working how I wanted it to work. Not a problem. So I'm just going to go back to this index. I'm just going to undo what I did. Easy, we'll just get rid of it. Now, another thing I could potentially do is we've got fixture standards. I can drop these down into probably that, which I think will be probably better in this sort of case. Yeah. That one's fine, that one's fine, and that one is fine. And then we just rebuild everything, no warnings. Oh, build successful, 1 warning. What's the warning? Writing a valid fixture standards warning enumerate list without a blank line expected indent. Ooh, 45. Let's get rid of that. So fixture standards 45. Any user who is not assigned a team member, excluding admin, cannot access object. Cool. That's easy. All right. No warnings. Build success. Let's jump over here. Let's hit refresh. We've got the cache busting. I don't know why that's still like that. Let's... Yeah, we're disabled. We don't want persistent longs. We've disabled that. I don't know why it's like that. Because everywhere else... unless I've got a problem with cache. Hang on. I don't know, honestly. So, yeah. And Jack, how are you? Sorry, just saw your message. Till now, I've always got by on my own. I never really cared until and now the children don't how to get alone. That sounds like it's from a song. How are you? Hopefully you're going well. All right, so I'm pretty happy with the documentation. We're going to go git status. We've got quite a bit of documentation. I'm going to remove the HTML files because we don't need to add them. So git status, git add, git commit. All right, update to the documentation, removal of unwanted documentation, and the adding of the variables, and then we're going to do a git push. And what we're going to do is we're going to do a quick pull request. So we're going to put this code directly into, because we know it builds, directly into the main branch. And the reason being is so people can see the latest documentation straight away. So we're going to go pull and compare request. So this will be notes, documentation updating, create pull request. It should only quite literally be just our files that we have changed. So yeah, it's just our files. If we actually minimize the docs, that's it. I'm happy with that. We shouldn't have pushed any random stuff in. So yeah, let's merge this. I'm gonna be naughty. We don't need to delete this branch, but what should happen is read the docs. Let's log in. Oh, I think I've used connect. We want to connect using that. All right, cool. So I'm just having a look at the latest. All right, it looks like it built 44 seconds ago. Awesome. All right, cool. So if I go to NearBeach.read the docs now, we might need to cache bust. We should now see the new flow. So yeah, we've got the API in there, which it points at the Swagger documentation, but we'll inflate that to sort of talk about it and so forth like that. We've also got in here the cache busting. which in here it doesn't do the three things. There we go, we've got that working perfectly fine. It's just my local had that file cached so badly it wasn't funny. We've got the deployment on NearBeach, we've got the checks in there, we've deleted some stuff, installation of NearBeach, quick install, different databases, different blob storages. Yeah, so that is perfectly fine. We've got the for developers, set up local dev environment, so that goes for their admin, basic usage. We've got the common usage. We need to actually finish that off. That's a big sort of task to do. So I'm just going to go to prod.nearbeach, the usual Kanban information too. So going down here, that one's actually completed. We can move it over there. Implement fuzzy test. No. All right. So we haven't done that. Construction. We need to do that. Install against existing project documentation. Remove. All right. Cool. We've completed that. Remove old installation process. We've done that. Implement/connect Python JavaScript style guide to NearBeach contributing guide. We need to actually do that. I believe that will be just me looking it up and being like, hey, this is what you should do. That's just me editing the documentation. Update administration/system variables. That one we have done. I'm happy with that one. Requirement item documentation needs to be done. So yeah, we've got some documentation done. That's good. Hopefully I'll get more done, and then it's essentially we're just doing tasks then and bug fixes and finding bugs. So yeah, the wrap up for 0.31 is finally getting closer. So yeah, on my board I've got bug fixes, 5 of them to fix. I've got shakeout test, we've got documentation and code coverage unit test. So yeah, not much left. Yeah, I'm trying to do this as fast as possible. So yeah. All right, let's find someone to raid. Yeah, so I am just going to go up here. Oh, I can use the fancy raid channel. I'm just going to go the following. We've got a couple. All right. Sorry, I'm just finding out who I could raid. All right, they're playing game. Something in Pico 8. Yeah, all right. Yeah, stop raid. All right, cool. All right, so we have decided to raid. Oh yeah, Buggy Barrow. All right, let's bring up her stream. All right. Anyway, thank you very much, everyone, for coming tonight. It has been wonderful. I do hope you enjoy Buggy Barrow. I will be back on Monday to continue going along with this. I'm hoping to set up all the databases and so forth like that, so that way we can do massive sort of shakeout testing across all the databases. So yeah, anyway, thank you very much. I'm just going to hit the raid now. For those on YouTube, thank you very much for being here. Sadly, you won't be able to join us with the raid, but don't forget to like and subscribe.